Were you always interested in cooking?
I was I was interested in sort of performing arts when I was younger, drama and things like that.
Yeah.
But I've always, like when my mother would be working or something like that, it never fazed me to go in the kitchen and make something for myself, or anything like that. I wouldn't rely on my mother to have something ready if need
Yeah.
be, when she was working and things like that, and say I was on school holidays or something. I'd quite enjoy going in the kitchen and making up little dishes and things like that, even if it's just a basic jacket potato and trying to work out a good filling for it,
Yeah.
just little things
So
like that, yeah.
you didn't have to struggle making sugar sandwiches then, like us.
No, not at all. Yeah, sprinkle sugar. My dad used to have sprinkle sugar on toast.
Yeah. So are both your parents, do they enjoy cooking? Do they like eating? Do you get together around the table? Do you have meals and things like that?
But now my parents.
With your parents, yeah, when you were
Yes,
younger.
yes. Oh, yes. It was. It was an everyday thing, really. My
Yeah.
father worked shifts, but I mean, most of the time, once my mother got home from work, everything was ready. We all sat on the table every
Yeah.
Sunday round the table. It was, and it still is. And I'm the same with my children, and my
Yeah.
family growing up. We don't eat in front of TVs with trays and
No.
things on our laps. No, definitely not.
I mean,
It's at the table.
what do you think about that? I mean, do you think a lot of families are missing out there now on that, and that's something we maybe should go back to, that sharing
100%.
cooking of
Yeah.
food and.
Yeah, 100%. I think now it's just, everybody's so much like on their phones and looking at this, looking at that,
Mm,
and there's no interaction, and then food is served. I mean, we've got a policy, it still stands. There's no phones at the table.
yeah.
No mobile phones come to the table. We sit around the table and we interact, and phones are out of the picture, and it has
Yeah.
been. When my children are older now, they're young women, but once mobile phones sort of came into to our lives, it's always been a case, no phones
Yeah.
at the table or anything like that. And yeah, I definitely think so, I mean, some of my girls, when they'd go to school and they'd say about food, and they'd be like, oh my God, you're eating that, or you're having that,
Mm,
and some of their friends would have gone home from school and just sat in front of the TV with, I don't know, something bog standard, and that would be it, no
yeah.
interaction and no
Did you
discussing about the day or anything like that.
did you kind of, did your grandparents cook? Did they make do with things, or were they able to cook sort of some traditional stuff, or what kind of things were they cooking? Did they
Yes.
influence you?
Well, I was lucky. I had great grandparents as well, and I remember my great grand in particular being an influence. She was a character, and she was very traditional. But you'd go there, she'd always have, "Are you hungry? Do you want to eat something?"
Mm.
And she actually thought baked beans was was trendy. I remember her making us beans on toast. Myself and my sister, they used to babysit for us, and they're making us beans on toast once. And she called it mochtra, She's like, oh,
Mm.
what is this? And she said, what are you going to have with it? She said, well, we just have beans on toast. And she wanted to give us pickles. And
Mm.
I always tell my daughters that story. I said, oh, my great-grand is, will you have pickles with it,
Yeah.
But there was always a roast. There was always hearty food. And that's, I suppose that's what I was bringing to Masterchef in a way. That, you can do your fine dining and it's all very well and good, but, sometimes it's just good quality, hearty food that just comes from your heart. And
But do you think that that's crossed over now in that, I mean, you've got sort of niche restaurants around the country and all over the place that actually make a living, a very good living on serving that traditional hearty food as a kind of a unique experience. Now, you might go somewhere. Where can you go? You can go to the market and get faggots and pieces on. But some of these top restaurants are putting those meals on
yeah, yeah,
specifically because they're appealing to a certain generation that wants that kind of food.
yeah, yeah, definitely. I do think there's,
There's no snobbery involved with, I guess, what I'm saying.
no,
Masterchef is you'd expect it to be, like you say, it's fine dining, whatever. But you did meatballs. You can't get much
exactly.
simpler,
No,
really, food.
no,
But
no.
they were impressed with that.
They were. What they said a lot to me was that they could see I cooked from the heart, and John mentioned it on the last program, and he would say to me, you know, personally, so I can tell that you cook from the heart. I can tell, but he said your flavors are great, you know, and I think, you know, you can put a couple of things on a plate in front and charge £50 for it, but you know, it's all about the flavour, it's all about the taste, and you want to feel good, you know, and that's basically what I do, you know, and the same in my family life, and well, like I say, making the meatballs. I mean, yes, in that first cook, you have to show skill, and you know, after watching MasterChef for years and years, I sort of guessed what the first challenge was going to be. And we all had things mulling in our heads of, right, if that's there, maybe I can make this, maybe I can make that. So I basically wanted to show that I had skills, that I could make pasta. Because believe it or not, I watch MasterChef Professionals as well. I love it. I love them all. And I remember there being a challenge once on the MasterChef Professionals. You know, they have to come in and sometimes do something off the cut. And a couple of the chefs couldn't make pasta. They didn't know where to start.
Sometimes the simplest things, isn't it? That's quite hard to do. Boil an egg even, you know.
Exactly. I mean, the sheer pan of mine.
I mean, most of the top cooks will say, you know, there's a way of cooking an onion, and if you cook it properly, it's delicious, you know.
That's right, exactly. But I mean, I've done, like I say, going back, going at my great gran, my mother's always cooked for us, you know, even when she was working, she'd leave notes in the morning for me and my sister to start preparing things for when she got home. And we always had home cooked food. And then, you know, I remember my mother then started to make curries and things like that. And you know, my mother loved to experiment in the kitchen and to cook. I think I've taken it that step further. I remember starting watching Ready Steady Cook. You know, my children were small then. And I was religiously, I would watch Ready Steady Cook, then any cooking programs that would be on. And I think I've learned just through that really, picking up little things, you know, about cooking off spices, cooking off when you use tomato puree, you know, you should cook it off, and just, you know, little things that make a massive difference then when it comes to just advancing your technique really. And I think then, you know, being a fitness instructor, it's quite nice in a way. You work in the morning, you come home, you're home in the day, then you go back out in the evening. So I'd have the days then, you know, and I'd be experimenting with different things.
Do you like plan and shop? Like, you know, will you go out and say, right, I know maybe a week ahead or a fortnight ahead, I know the ingredients I need to make A, B, C, D, and E meal, and that's how you shop, or do you just go random like some people do? Do you prepare? Are you well organized? Is your kitchen stocked with some exotic sort of, you know, ingredients that you like, a bit of saffron or a bit of this or a bit of that you might dip into now and again when you're experimenting?
Yes, my cupboard is full of, I've got, I'm lucky to have a really lovely kitchen, and I've got like a cupboard, and you can pull out the racks that have come out all stacked, and I'm quite OCD as well, so all my spices, all my dried herbs, all my dried, what I call then, sort of like solid spices, you know, like the seeds and things like that, they're all together in sort of order. So my powdered spices are in one sort of
Do you think it has to be that
seeded.
way? Or do you think it has to be that way? I mean, if you're working in a car mechanics, you've got everything in order. Do you think to be a good chef, you have to have that order and you have to know what's what?
I do think so. I think if you've got mess and shambles sort of going on, I think it's hard then to... I think it's harder to be creative, and it's harder to see what's what, you know. And I've definitely got, even in the last year, you know, that cupboard has advanced even more again. I've messed around. I was very messing around with Mexican food not so long back, so I bought all of these dried Mexican chilies, and especially when I was up in London, you know, and you know the shops you've got up there, you know. Just,
well, that's it. Do you think we're limited to choice? I mean, it's hard. If you go into the supermarket, really, it's usually the sameness. It's all the same. It's hard. I mean, you don't have, like, in London, I used to live there myself, you'd have the Bangladeshi place, you'd have the Asian place, you'd have the Chinese, you'd have the Thai, and you could get all the raw ingredients for even the Jamaican, Caribbean stuff. You could get all those in the corner shop. But here, it's difficult to find those things, isn't it?
It really is. I mean, I for a while, I know something else can get it from me. I've wanted fresh turmeric, you know, the actual root.
Yeah.
And it's an absolute nightmare to go and try and buy. But I definitely think living here, you know, in this town and just even around the area, it's really hard to get certain things. I have to look online, and either order online then, or if I'm in, you know, in a big city somewhere, I can have a look there.
Yeah.
And yes, I definitely think we are restricted. You know,
So
there's not enough.
so you've been on the show now, so people in Llanelli, you know, and in the restaurants, they must be sort of, they might have seen you walking in and maybe a little bit of a reticence to give you something, because you do have a good palate. Can you taste it? Do you taste your food as you cook it? Do you smell it? You know, do you work like that?
Yes, you've got to. And yes, 100%. I taste as I go along. I mean, I haven't. It's only been on for the last week or so. I haven't really been anywhere yet, but I have been out and about, and people have gone like, "Oh, I see you're on the Masterchef and you," and it's been, the support from people has been unbelievable. You know, like I say, just random people. I was in Tesco's cafe the other day, just having a coffee with a friend, and could see this woman just looking over, and then she came across. I got to ask. She said, "Were you a Masterchef?" And she said, "Oh, you're lovely. We're rooting for you." And I just think, you know, that's really sweet. Yeah, that's really lovely.
Do you you know, with the cooking that you've been doing on there, I guess the temptation might have been for some people, I'm going to do some Welsh cakes, I'm going to do some cawl, I'm going to do some tishalap or whatever. Did you take any of that sort of Welsh influence in, or were you looking to do something else, you know?
What I told myself when I applied, and then when I found out I'd got through, was to still be myself and to cook with what I like to cook, and what friends and family have.
Yeah. It would be easy
like,
to fall into that. I'm Welsh. I'll go in there and I'll produce Welsh stuff and promote this and promote that. But as you say, you've got to be true to yourself, and you've got to do something. And if you believe in that flair and you believe in that, you've got that passion for doing something that, you know, like you say, it could be Mexican, it could be Jamaican, it could be whatever. You've got to go with that, haven't you?
Yeah. But saying that, you know, there are influences that are, and it's really when you do start to think of things, when they give you like a brief to prepare for, or certain things like that.
Do you know what that is, or do they just come in and say, you know, this is what we'd like you to do today, off 1, 2, 3, go, and the ingredients are all there for you? How does it work?
No, when you go to the market challenge, that is, you have no idea. You're standing there. You've never met John or Greg until you actually go in and start filming. And they do say, go into the market, you've got 10 minutes, choose ingredients, and make us a dish. And there are other ones then whereby, you know, you're sort of asked to prepare something in advance. So, you know,
is it quite
intimidating
when you go into the market there? I mean, what kind of things do you see? Is it, I mean, obviously no beans, tins of beans on there, but some of the things throw you? Or do you sort of, you're pretty familiar with what's in there?
I was familiar with some things, with other things, you know, not so familiar. But there was, when you first walk in, we all said it afterwards, you know, you start walking and you just think, you can't see anything. You just think, how do I boil an egg? What, you know, where do I start, you know?
Yeah.
And you've just got to put that initial sort of like, that sort of slight panic, sort of blind sheer panic really, and just think, right. And that's what I told myself, all right, just calm down. You've had some things in your mind that you wanted to cook with, and go for it. And they give you like a selection of meats, selection of fishes, and things like that. And you know, you're scanning, you're trying to scan what is there, and
it's the same process.
At the same time, you're not really taking it in as well. You know, you're scanning, and then are you taking it in? But again, I thought, right, be true to yourself. I sort of said I wanted to cook pasta. When I saw there was mince and things there, I thought, right, that's what I'm going to do. I'm showing a skill, and see if I'm going to get through on that, really.
Were you looking across at what the others were taking and thinking, you know, this and this, you know, or does not enter your head?
It didn't at the start. And then as you put things out on your counter, and you sort of like, right, okay, then you start to look across, and you do sort of think that, oh gosh, but I just thought, right, ignore that and go with what, you know. Because I thought the last thing you want to do is grab a load of things and then,
Well,
oh no, I want to do something else and change your
I
mind
guess
because that could be the worst
you
thing.
can liken it to being in the gym, isn't it? You can have somebody going in there like a really slim, slight person, and there's a guy in the corner with the big muscles lifting the big dumbbell
Yeah,
or whatever. But you know, there's one is impressing, and the other is the reality of
exactly,
stick to what you're good at, and just push
exactly.
yourself. You know.
That's right. That's right. And like I said to you just now, when I found out I got through, that's what I told myself. I thought, stick with what I like, what I do,
Mm-hmm.
and then refine it or put a twist on it, here and there where I can,
Mm.
but, and that is what I stuck to throughout the competition really. That was always in my head because I thought if I try and do things that aren't me,
Mm.
then, it's not coming from my heart then, and it's not, the love isn't there because it's going to be something completely alien or,
Do you
yeah.
think that fine cooking has to be expensive? I mean, internationally, we don't have a huge range of places to go, and the ones that are quite expensive. So do you think there's a call for something internationally where you can experience this kind of fine dining, quality food at family prices? Is that something you'd like to look at?
I do think so. I do think, like when I went there and some of the other contestants are talking about places they've been, places they eat, but, they haven't got to drive miles for, they're on
That's
their
right.
doorstep. And I felt quite sort of out of that loop because, being a
Yeah.
young mum as well and things like that, I haven't, some of them have travelled and been to some amazing countries and eaten in some
Mm.
amazing places and these experiences that they'd all had. And I thought, oh God, I haven't done
But
half
but
of that.
then the fact is that almost gives you additional kudos because you, as simple as you think you are, and as down to earth and as local country girl as you go, you're there, you're with them side by side.
Yes, true,
That's a
true.
huge
That's
achievement,
right.
isn't it?
That's true. That's right. That's true. Yeah. And
You're
I do
holding
think,
your own.
yeah. Oh yeah, 100%. Yeah. I do think, it would be nice to have something here, locally,
Mm.
with, just good, honest ingredients, local,
Mm.
using local ingredients.
Yeah.
Yes. But, I think the
So
town could do with something like that.
you're thinking of branching out now for a cookery school?
I'd love to do, they sort of ask you, what would be your sort of,
Mm.
what do you want to gain out of this, where do you, or whatever.
Okay.
And I've never been really interested in having my own restaurant,
Mm.
and having all of that sort of responsibility. But, I'd love to just do some sort of cookery school, and help young families maybe,
Mm.
young mothers, maybe some people with, very minor special needs who just need to look after themselves in their own home and know how to just cook well for themselves.
Yeah.
And young families to cook well for their children and know that, you don't have to buy a lot of processed food. You don't have to go and buy that jar of John Leo and stick
Yeah.
it in your pasta. You can make it from
That's
scratch.
right.
I'd love to be involved with something like that and in some way or another and bring that back.
Yeah.
And then I'd like to be involved with food, but I'm still sort of where to go really,
Uh, And Greg was obviously impressed with your Welsh roots, and he sort of cajoled you into singing a Welsh
yeah.
hymn.
Yeah.
Was that sort of like early days in the program, and a bit comforting to have that kind of welcome and association?
It was more or less my first initial meeting with Greg. We'd gone in there, we'd gone into the kitchen, and we'd been told to pick those ingredients from the market.
Yeah.
So we picked them, we brought them back. Then you just have to go out for a bit while they take a shot of what you picked and things like that. You come back in to cook. And it was, as I was doing that first ever cook, he came over, he obviously recognised I was Welsh, he recognised it was a South Wales accent, because apparently it had something to do with rugby, he managed,
Is that rugby union badges? Yeah.
yeah, so he said he coached or managed or something,
That's
a
right.
team. So he knew Llanelli. He knew where Llanelli was. He knew where it was on the map. I'm not sure if he even said he'd been here.
Yeah.
And he asked if I liked rugby, which I do. And he just started singing it. So I thought, because he just kept going. I just thought he was going to say like one little line, and he just carried on. And I thought, well, I'll join in. And so I joined in, and then they were like, stop. The crew were like, stop a minute, because the camera crew were filming somebody else. one part of the camera crew. So they came over and we had to start again and
Right.
start singing it again. And I was singing it and then in the back of my head thinking, what the hell is going on? This is crazy. And yeah, so yeah, we finished singing the song and then me being me, I just said, oh, you give me goosebumps. And meaning, like, when I sing that song, that song gives me goosebumps anyway, is what I meant. But the way it came out with me being me, it was just a bit mad.
So
Absolutely
it's finished filming now.
Yeah.
When do we know? When is the last bit? Where do we know who won? Or
No idea.
Right.
No idea.
That's something that. So when will they be aired? Have we one episode been on so far, or?
No, I've been on 2 episodes so far.
Right.
And there was an episode last night. So at the moment now there's been my heat of contestants, another heat of contestants.
Right.
Then we sort of whittled it down to the few that are left out of those 2 groups. And there's been another 2 groups this week now, and tonight is like what's left of those groups. And it goes like that. So we're all in the quarterfinals then, whoever's left. So yeah, we were told when we filmed that we were the first group of contestants, and now we'll be aired first because we are the first ones in this new series, you see. So it's just bit by bit now, and that's all I can say on that really.
Yeah. No, it's interesting. I mean, to go behind the scenes almost with you, and in the TV world, it's not quite what you see on the screen, is it? There's a heck of a lot that goes on in the background to stop starting, as you say. You have to keep mum.
Yeah.
You can't give anything away.
No. Yeah, it's just
and social media is a thing. Social media is a thing where it's tempting to sort of put a pic on or a tweet on, and it's a show spoiler, isn't it?
That's right. You've got, you have got to be, So, but no, it's bizarre because I've watched it for so many years, and when I walked into that kitchen, it was so familiar, so surreal. It was just, it felt like I was on one of those sort of like day sort of, experiences, like you can buy, like you can go around walk Coronation Street or something like that. That's what it felt like. It was that we were all saying the same. It's like, oh, this is mad. This is the actual kitchen, So, there's, still in the heat and things like that, yes. And
anyone approached you to produce the meatballs for commercially in Llanelli, Jenkins Carpenter?
No, not yet. And Greg Gingerbread Men.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, because I made a gingerbread. I made a ginger cake and an ice cream and everything else from one of the heats I just was aired last week, and just for a bit of fun, I did a gingerbread man and called it Greg, and I made a John. I didn't think they'd be shown on the TV, but they were. And then I was like trending on Twitter then, saying, "Who wants to have a gingerbread Greg?" You're just going crazy. So the slightly things you do, things get picked up on. But,
and your family, your friends, your kids, what do they think of it all?
Oh, they're just over the moon. Over the moon. They, my daughters, they couldn't wait to to say that I was on the show then once the first trailer sort of was aired and my face came on the screen, and my daughter's like, right, can we put it out there now that you're on it, and this and that, and they're just very excited about it all. Yes, it's quite crazy.
Well, good luck and thanks for speaking to us.